Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to stand at the very edge of time? To witness the birth of the universe itself, the instant when silence cracked open and light spilled into the void? This is not merely a poetic question. Throughout history, there have been whispers of individuals who claim to carry within them memories older than mountains, older than the stars themselves. Among these figures is one man, known only through fragments of tradition, half-buried manuscripts, and the careful retelling of esoteric circles, who remembered the day of creation. Not as an abstract philosophy, not as a myth told by elders, but as if he were there, as if his soul had preserved the very memory of existence's first breath. Imagine such a mind. Imagine being able to describe not just the dawn of humanity, but the very moment when nothing became something, when the formless stirred and a spark unfolded into infinite galaxies. Imagine being haunted by memories so vast and incomprehensible that they make ordinary human concerns seem like shadows on a wall. This man spoke of a time before time, when creation was not an event, but a vibration. He described it as a song, a tone so pure that it shattered the void and became light. He remembered the rhythm by which stars were arranged, the geometry that determined the spiral of galaxies, the sacred pattern behind rivers, trees, and the beating of the human heart. His words suggested that creation was not a random explosion, but an intentional act, structured and alive, like an artist painting with eternity itself. And yet, here lies the mystery. Was he recalling something real? Or was his mind merely a vessel for archetypal truths that live deep within all of us? Was he a prophet, a mystic, or simply a man attuned to a memory buried in the collective soul of humanity? In this video, we will explore the enigma of the man who remembered the day of creation. We will trace the echoes of his story across ancient philosophies and hidden traditions, uncovering why mystics throughout history believed that the beginning of the universe is not just a distant past, but something alive within us right now. We will journey into the symbolism of Genesis, the cosmic cycles of Hinduism, the hidden teachings of Hermeticism, and the whispers of mystics who claimed to touch eternity. By the end of this exploration, you will not only understand the mystery of this man's memory, but also discover how it connects to your own spiritual path. Because perhaps the truth is this: creation is not something that happened once, long ago. It is happening in this very moment, inside you, every time you breathe, every time you awaken to a deeper truth. So, are you ready to step into the memory of the universe itself?
The tale of the man who remembered the day of creation does not exist in isolation. To understand its significance, we must place it within the broader tapestry of ancient philosophies and mystical traditions. Because across cultures, there has always been the belief that the beginning of the universe is not merely a past event, but a secret knowledge hidden within the human soul. In the ancient Near East, the Hebrew mystics spoke of Bereshit, the mysterious first word of Genesis. While the common translation is "in the beginning," Kabbalistic scholars taught that it meant much more. They saw it as a code, a doorway into the moment when the infinite, the Ein Sof, contracted itself into form. In their vision, the cosmos was born through 10 emanations, spheres of divine light known as the Sephirot, each one a step in the unfolding memory of creation. To them, remembering creation was not about looking backward, but about ascending those spheres to return to the source. Meanwhile, in India, the Vedic seers told of the cosmic sound Aum, the eternal vibration that began the universe. Hindu cosmology describes cycles of creation and dissolution, each overseen by the great gods Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Yet beyond the gods, the sages insisted on something deeper, the eternal self, the Atman, which is one with Brahman, the ultimate reality. In meditation, they claimed one could hear the echo of the original vibration, the very same that birthed worlds. Thus, to remember creation was not madness, it was enlightenment. The Greeks, too, preserved fragments of this idea. In the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, we read of a primal light emerging from boundless darkness, and from that light, the universe unfolded. Hermetic philosophy taught that the macrocosm, the universe, and the microcosm, the human being, are mirrors of one another. If one could truly know oneself, one would know the beginning of all things. As the Emerald Tablet declares, as above, so below. Even within Christianity, traces of this mystery remain. The Gospel of John opens with a profound echo of Genesis. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word, or logos, was not just speech, but the divine ordering principle, the vibration that shaped chaos into cosmos. Mystics of the early church, such as Origen or Meister Eckhart, hinted that to touch the logos was to touch the memory of creation itself. What does this tell us? That the figure of the man who remembered the day of creation is not merely a curiosity. He's a living archetype, a symbol pointing to the possibility that the memory of creation resides in all of us. The Buddhists would call it primordial awareness, an ever-present clarity that existed before thought, before identity, before time itself. The Taoists might call it the Tao, the ineffable way that gives birth to the 10,000 things. Thus, his story fits into a universal thread, the belief that creation is not simply a chronological event, but a metaphysical state. To remember it is to pierce the veil of illusion, to awaken to a truth that our ordinary senses conceal. And yet this raises unsettling questions. If creation can be remembered, does that mean time is circular, not linear? Are we, in some mysterious way, present at both the beginning and the end of all things? Or perhaps the very act of remembering creation is the key to transcending death itself. Because if we are as old as the cosmos, then what is there to fear in dissolution? As we move forward, we will examine the core of this mystery not as a metaphor, but as a real possibility. Could human consciousness truly contain memories from before the birth of the stars? And if so, what would that mean for our understanding of reality? To grasp the mystery of the man who remembered the day of creation, we must first step into the hidden architecture of memory itself. What does it mean to remember? Most people think of memory as the storage of personal experiences, what we ate yesterday, the sound of our mother's voice, the path we took home from school. But esoteric traditions teach of a deeper kind of memory, a memory that is not personal, but cosmic. Imagine a mirror, so vast and perfect that it reflects not only your life, but the entire unfolding of existence. This mirror is what mystics have called the Akashic Record, the universal archive said to contain the history of every soul, every thought, every movement of the cosmos. To remember creation may not be recalling an event from a single lifetime. It may be accessing this infinite library of truth. The man in question may have stumbled upon the deepest level of this memory, the page where the first vibration is inscribed. Let us picture it another way. Think of the universe as a great ocean. When a stone is dropped into it, ripples spread outward endlessly. Those ripples are still there, even if our eyes can no longer see them. The moment of creation was the first stone. Its ripples move through time, space, and even human consciousness. Most of us are too distracted to notice, but perhaps this man was sensitive enough to feel the oldest ripple, the original wave. To him, it was not an abstract concept, but an overwhelming reality.
His descriptions, though fragmented, resonate with teachings found in multiple traditions. He spoke of a tone, a pure vibration that broke the silence of the void. This immediately brings to mind the Om of the Vedas, the Logos of the Gospel of John, and the Fiat Lux, let there be light, of Genesis. The man described seeing not a random explosion, but a patterned unfolding, like the blossoming of a flower. Petals of energy spiraled outward, forming geometry, harmony, and structure. This mirrors what modern scientists call sacred geometry, the mathematical patterns underlying the formation of crystals, galaxies, and even the human body. But here is where his testimony becomes even more intriguing. He claimed that the memory of creation is not outside of us, it is imprinted in our very being. He pointed to the human heart as a living echo of the original pulse, and the breath as a reenactment of the primal rhythm. When you breathe in, he said, you repeat the first inhalation of the universe. When your heart beats, it beats with the same force that once set the stars into motion. This idea is more than poetic, it is deeply esoteric. Hermetic philosophy teaches that which is below is like that which is above. If the cosmos began with rhythm, vibration, and light, then so too do we. In fact, the very structure of our DNA, the double helix spiral, is a microcosmic reflection of the spiral galaxies above. To remember creation, then, is not to look backward in time, but to look inward, to recognize that every cell, every breath, every beat of our being carries the imprint of that original moment. And yet, there is a paradox. If such memory exists within us all, why do so few recall it? Why do most of us live trapped in the small circle of personal memory, unable to access the vast memory of the cosmos? Mystics would answer, because we are asleep. Our attention is scattered, our awareness dulled by the constant noise of daily life. The man who remembered the day of creation may not have been special in the conventional sense. He may have simply been awake, fully awake in a way most humans never are. This leads us to the first great insight. Creation is not past, it is present. It is happening now, and it is written into us. Remembering it requires not extraordinary gifts, but extraordinary stillness. But this is only half of the mystery. For if creation can be remembered, then it can also be participated in. This is where the story deepens, because what the man recalled was not only the birth of the cosmos, but the revelation that creation is ongoing, and that every human soul is a co-creator in this great unfolding.
If the first half of the mystery teaches us that creation is present within us, the second half reveals something even more profound. We are not only witnesses of creation, we are participants in it. The man who remembered the day of creation did not stop at describing what he had seen. He warned that every thought, every word, and every act of a human being reverberates with the same creative force that once brought galaxies into being. To him, remembering the beginning was not a matter of curiosity, it was a responsibility. Think of a musician plucking the first note of a song. That note defines the tone, the mood, the direction of everything that follows. The man claimed that each of us is continually plucking strings of creation with our consciousness. Every emotion, every intention is like striking a note in the universal symphony. Some create harmony, others create dissonance. To remember creation is to realize that we are still playing that first song, still weaving the fabric of existence in every moment. This echoes the teachings of the Upanishads, which state that, as is your desire, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. As is your deed, so is your destiny. It resonates with Hermetic thought,
which insists that mind is the root of all manifestation. The man's memory was not just about a beginning long ago. It was about the living truth that creation is mind in motion. He spoke, too, of the dangers of forgetting. Humanity, he said, lives in amnesia. We have forgotten the sacredness of our role, and so we create unconsciously. Fear, greed, anger, these are not just private emotions. They ripple outward, shaping reality itself. Wars, divisions, and suffering are the shadows of unconscious creation. When you forget the first song, you create noise instead of harmony. Here lies the second great insight. To remember creation is to reclaim your role as a conscious co-creator of reality. The man insisted that this remembrance was not symbolic, it was visceral. He described moments when he could feel the very fabric of space bending to the frequency of his thoughts, when silence would pulse like a living thing, and the stars above seemed to respond to the song within his chest. This teaching has parallels in nearly every mystical tradition. The Taoists describe the sage who moves in harmony with the Tao, so that even nature bends to his presence. The Christian mystics spoke of aligning the human will with divine will, so that one becomes a channel through which the Word continues to create. In Sufism, the remembrance of God, dhikr, is the act of aligning the heart with the eternal act of creation. In Buddhism, the recognition of emptiness is not nihilism, but the profound understanding that reality is continuously arising, moment by moment, like waves on an endless ocean. The man's testimony, then, is not a solitary anomaly. It is a mirror reflecting what countless mystics have taught, that creation is not finished. We live in it, we breathe it, we shape it, and to awaken to this truth is to step into a life of profound power and responsibility. But there was one more secret in his memory. He claimed that the day of creation was not the first day, but every day. That the true miracle was not that the universe was born once, long ago, but that it is being born again and again in every breath, every sunrise, every act of awareness. The beginning never ended, he said. It is still happening in you, in me, in everything. This final insight shatters the linear illusion of time. If creation is ongoing, then each of us stands at the dawn of existence right now. The stars are still being sung into being. The light is still bursting forth, and our consciousness is the stage upon which it unfolds. To remember the day of creation, therefore, is not to look back. It is to awaken here and now.
If the man who remembered the day of creation left us with one great gift, it was this: the understanding that such remembrance is not reserved for prophets, mystics, or visionaries. It is available to anyone willing to awaken. But how? How can we, ordinary people caught in the chaos of modern life, touch the memory of the universe itself? The first step is silence. He taught that silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of the original vibration. Every tradition echoes this. The yogis sat in caves and listened for the Om. The Christian monks retreated into deserts to hear the still, small voice. The Taoists spoke of Wu Wei, the effortless stillness from which all things arise. To practice silence is to align your ear with the first note of creation. Begin with 5 minutes a day. Sit, breathe, and listen not with your ears, but with your whole being. The second step is breath. Breath, he said, is the microcosm of creation. The inhalation mirrors the universe expanding, the exhalation mirrors its return.
To breathe consciously is to remember that you too are part of the cosmic rhythm. A simple exercise. Place your hand on your heart, breathe slowly, and imagine with each inhale that you are drawing in the original light of creation. And with each exhale, you are releasing harmony into the world. This is not imagination alone. It is participation in the universal song. The third step is awareness of thought. The man warned that our minds are instruments of creation, whether we realize it or not. Every thought is a seed, every emotion a vibration. He urged his listeners to treat thoughts as sacred, to choose them as carefully as one would choose words in a prayer. A daily practice is to pause before speaking or acting and ask, am I adding harmony or noise to the universe? The fourth step is remembrance in action. Creation is not only remembered in meditation, but embodied in daily life. Acts of kindness, beauty, and love are echoes of the first light. When you comfort a friend, create art, plant a tree, or speak truth, you are not just doing something good, you are participating in the ongoing act of creation. You are reenacting the beginning of the cosmos in human form. The fifth step is dream practice. Many traditions teach that the threshold between sleep and waking is a portal into deeper realities. The man himself claimed that much of his memory came in dreams, dreams where he stood in silence before the first dawn. To practice this, keep a dream journal. Before sleep, set an intention. Let me remember the beginning. Write down whatever comes, no matter how strange. Over time, you may begin to glimpse fragments of a memory older than yourself. And finally, the sixth step, gratitude. Gratitude, he said, is the highest form of remembrance. To thank existence for your breath, your life, the stars above you, is to align with the joy of the Creator. Gratitude is the echo of the first yes that called the universe into being. Cultivate it daily, not as a ritual of politeness, but as a conscious act of remembrance. Of course, these practices are not without challenges. The modern world is noisy, restless, and full of distractions. Doubt will creep in. Skepticism will whisper that such remembrance is fantasy. But the man insisted, this is only the veil of forgetfulness. The truth is deeper than belief or disbelief. It is an experience waiting to be uncovered. The reward is immeasurable. To remember creation is to feel at home in the cosmos. Fear diminishes because you realize you are as ancient as the stars. Loneliness fades because you recognize yourself as part of the eternal whole. Life becomes luminous because every moment, every breath, every gesture becomes an act of creation. This is the gift he left us. Not a doctrine, not a dogma, but a practice. A way to awaken the cosmic memory within, and to live not as a wanderer in chaos, but as a conscious participant in the eternal unfolding of the universe.
The story of the man who remembered the day of creation is not merely a tale of wonder. It is a mirror, showing us what lies hidden in ourselves. His memory is not something alien, not a gift granted to one extraordinary soul, but a reminder that the spark of the beginning is alive in every human being. We have seen how ancient traditions, from the Kabbalists to the Vedic sages, from Hermetic philosophers to Christian mystics, echo the same truth. Creation is not a past event, but a living reality. The cosmos is not finished. It is unfolding in every heartbeat, every breath, every act of awareness. To remember creation is to remember who we truly are, beings woven of the same light and vibration that once shattered the void. The man's testimony challenges us to see differently,
To realize that our thoughts are not private echoes, but forces shaping reality. That our emotions are not fleeting moods, but ripples in the cosmic sea. That our actions, however small, participate in the grand song that began before time itself. And perhaps this is the true secret. The day of creation never ended. It is still happening, right now. When you open your eyes at dawn, when you breathe with awareness, when you choose love over fear, you are standing at the very edge of the beginning. You are there, in the silence before light, in the vibration that continues to weave galaxies and hearts alike. So I ask you this, what will you create? Will you add harmony or noise? Will you remember or will you remain asleep? If even one of us chooses to awaken, to live as though every moment is the first moment of the universe, then perhaps the world will shift. Perhaps we will remember together, and in that remembrance find the wisdom, courage, and love to shape a new creation worthy of the stars. The invitation is simple. Be still, breathe, remember. The day of creation is not behind you. It is within you, always.